So you have clicked on Fred and Barbie's channel. Once again, thank you so much for watching our videos. For those on the post notification, thank you so much. If you are not on there, take a moment, subscribe and do that. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much. Let's grow together. We are almost hitting a certain target that we actually planned before we get to 1 year on this channel. Thank you so much for staying along. In today's video, we are talking about
how I met your family for the first time, and how you met my family for the first time.
Okay.
And what we went through.
Okay.
Both family coming together.
Interesting. All right, so let's go then.
As we said, in case you haven't watched how we met, please kindly watch that video to understand what we're going to talk about right now. So when we met, this gentleman right here told me that his family has no issue with the person that he's going to date. But as at the time that we met, I was very young and I haven't experienced that in my family because we were all at that young age. But he was...
How old were you? 19.
Oh,
okay.
And you was 22.
Hey.
Yeah, you've come far. But he was from a family and you had elderly, what do you call it?
Elderly ones.
Exactly. So you have had that experience before. They are all married. And my side of the family, we were very young and I haven't experienced that before. So when he told me that his family has no issue with the person that he's gonna date, and then he wanted to bring me home, I asked him to first come to my place, see my parents, and if they have no issue with him, I'll do what? I'll join you home, right? And so I was in Ghana at that time and we met. We met in Accra. So when I went back to Kumasi, coincidentally, at that time you was doing your what were you doing? National service, right? Yeah. And then they transferred him to Kumasi. And then we booked an appointment with my family. Guys, and I was so nervous. I was really nervous, but I couldn't wait for him to come home. So I think on that day I told my family that I'm gonna introduce someone to them. That's my boyfriend, I said. Then they said, oh well, okay, he's welcome. So they prepared something and we waited for this gentleman to come home. He came home. I don't remember the time. It was around, I don't know, in the afternoon, I think, if I can
probably
remember.
1 p.m. ish.
This gentleman came, and then what happened? He came, everyone was awaiting him, and they all received him, I think, very well. They were nice to you, they welcomed you, they made you feel like you belong to the family. Or
yeah.
But there was an issue. The only problem was that my grandma was a bit afraid because of the distance relationship that we were having. The only thing she said was that she hoped that it's gonna work, and like she wished us the best. I think she sat us down and advised us. She advised us about marriage, dating, how we have to deal with our issues, not adding a third party to our relationship if you want it to work, and all the other stuff. The plus point for this gentleman was that his parents were still married. So when my grandma heard that, she was very impressed, and for the fact that he's so good looking. So my grandma was like, oh my God, where did you find this guy? He looks so good and he's so tall. And she was praising him all the time.
I remember that.
Oh, guys, she was sitting in front of him and was looking at him. Then she would look at me and then she'd be like, oh my God, he looks so handsome. Where did you find him? You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and that was it, I think. Then we ate something, had a small talk, and after it, you left.
No, we played Ludo. I remember that day
Oh,
we played some games.
Yeah. We played some games, right?
Yeah.
And what happened? I think after that you left.
Yeah, after that I had to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember going back, it was raining.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your shoe, right?
That was one of the worst days ever in my life. Oh my God.
Here we are today. It was worth it.
It was crazy. So to add up to that, I mean, going back, I took a taxi and then I changed for a trotro. I mean, that was the typical transportation means of transportation to the village that she was at. And then when I took the trotro, it started raining.
Oh.
The trotro is the buses, the mini buses in Ghana. So I took the minibus and it started raining. I was sitting at the front seat of the trotro, not knowing the whole roof of the trotro is actually like, I don't know how that happened, and it started leaking. We are sitting in the car, but people were getting wet. The back was worse.
Oh, no.
But me sitting in front, I was not feeling because my shirt was kind of loose.
Oh no.
So at a point, I just leaned back and I felt like, ew, what is that? My whole shirt was wet, like super wet. I was like, what is happening? That was when I realized that those at the back were even going through worse situations than I sitting in the front. And I asked the driver, I said, oh my God. This is not like something that you just realize, you know, it's by just carelessness. I mean, it is what it is. That was just the story, by the way. I go home late because of that. The means of getting home was bad.
What about your shoe?
What happened to my shoe?
Something happened to your shoe.
What happened to my shoe?
That brown shoe of yours.
Oh yeah, that one too got kind of, it got damaged because the glue was just the water was just dismantling, like kind of making contact with the glue part of the shoe, and everything was started like kind of the sole was kind of detaching from there. Just like, yeah, I had to throw that shoe away.
Oh.
Yeah, but it wasn't a big deal. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, I wasn't rich, and then that shoe wasn't that expensive, so getting a new one was. But if it was now that I get like, okay, I buy shoe like $200, $250, and then I wear it 2-3 times, and this happens.
You cry.
No, I'll bring it to your grandma to pay for it, or maybe the trotro driver should have paid for it. I mean, yeah. So that is it. Oh, what is that? Anyway, it's summer and we're outside, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a mosquito. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so that is what happened, and then years later, I think this was in 2016. So 4 years later, that is 5 years later, 2021, then I have to meet the other parts of the family too. So continue from there.
You needed to meet the other part of the family, as you have said.
So before you continue, so
yes, I'll say it.
In the same 2016,
okay.
we met my family in Ghana, Cape Coast too. So I think after 2 or 3 weeks later, we met in Accra again. Or no, we met in Kumasi, I think for the second time before I came back to Cape Coast. And then she had to come to Cape Coast to meet the family. But before she came to Cape Coast, she came to Accra and traveled from Accra to Cape Coast.
Yeah.
And that was when she had to come home to meet my family too for the first time. Remember, it wasn't a problem for me from the very onset because, I mean...
And they were so nice. I don't really remember who I met there, but I remember your mother was there.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother and his wife. We went to visit them.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot recall
Sarah
the
was
other
there.
ones. She was there?
Sarah was the one who served us.
Sarah served us?
With the 𝐸𝐸𝐻.
Was that Sarah?
That was Sarah.
Guys, I don't remember. I don't remember, but now that I know them, I know like who they are. And it was just funny because Fred was that kind of person. He's very, very quiet. So when I came, like we just went. Oh, Daddy was at home too.
Daddy was at home too.
Yeah, he introduced me to his, I think, parents first.
Yeah.
And like we went to sit, right? They served us, we ate, and they were so nice to me.
Before she even got home, she requested for 𝐬𝐩𝐽 and 𝐬𝐩𝐽. Let's go, continue. I'm done. But
you asked me. They asked me what I want to eat when I come over.
Yeah, so you ate 𝐬𝐩𝐽 and then fried rice.
Yeah, and then we went to visit her brother, and he cooked. His wife cooked fried rice, right?
Yeah.
It was really nice. They were so nice to me, and yeah. The funny thing is that I didn't understand their language. I think at that time I only understood you. So when mommy was talking, I was always like, what is she saying? Like, I just didn't understand her accent. But right now that I've been living with them for a longer time, I do understand everything that they say.
It is what it is.
It was a bit difficult at that time. But let's continue with the other family in where the other side of the world.
Other side of the world. I mean, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so after she meeting my family in Cape Coast, somehow my life had to continue in New York because all this while I was in Ghana, right? So within that same year, no, after 2 years, I had to continue. That was 2018 or 17, ending, beginning 18. Yeah, I had to continue my life in New York. I mean, United States, right? So when I came over, she was happy. And then, I mean, initially in the course of the relationship, we were talking about I moving to her side, or like we had not talked about concrete place to live, right?
Yeah.
And we had no idea of living in America, New York, or Germany, Munich, or whatever. So whatever the case is, so when I came to America, sorry guys, she came over to visit, and that was also an okay welcome to the family. And then 2 years later, that is 2021, so that was 3 years. Because of Corona issues, we couldn't meet. So 2021, I had a chance. I went to Germany, we met. Then we had to meet the family and then take it from there.
And then we met the family. Or I booked an appointment with the family. And on our way, guys, I was so nervous. And funny enough, whenever I'm nervous, guys, I have a running stomach. So that's how nervous I was, right? And I think where were we when I started doing drama?
So at the central, no, in the train, when we took the train, that's the U-Bahn. Yeah, when we took the U-Bahn, and then we started. I feel like, oh my God, I don't know what is gonna happen, this and that.
I didn't know how they were going to receive him, so I was just nervous.
When we got to the last stop, and then before we exit the underground to the top to take the bus, you tried going to the bathrooms at the place, and because of Corona, all those bathrooms were locked at that time. And it was not opened.
And I remember telling you, please, let's go back home. I don't want to go anymore.
I don't want to go anymore. It was funny. Yeah.
So that's how we met.
And then, yeah, so we met her family. It was a very beautiful welcome. We ate breakfast. Oh, yeah, it was breakfast.
It was brunch.
Okay, brunch. I think so. It was brunch. I think it was around 11. So, yeah. We had some brunch. We had good talk. Also, yeah, it actually coincided with Papa's birthday celebration. The kids were there. His grandkids were there. Yeah, it was a beautiful welcome. We had a good time. So that's how we met the other family, and then we had to travel to Dortmund to meet some of the family members
too.
Yeah.
So we went there. My auntie saw him and she was just happy. They just couldn't wait to see him because they've been expecting this gentleman for so long. So when they met, funny enough, my cousin and Fred, most of my family, like we are all at the same age, they really, really understand themselves. They are really, really good. So as I also do with his siblings. So when they first met, like everyone went to their partner. That's how we say it. Like,
Jessica came to
me. Jessica came to you.
You went to
and then I went to mommy and then mommy then came
later,
to you. And then it was just beautiful, guys. It was just beautiful. Then they got to know you. And from there we started with the planning of our marriage. That's how we met the family.
Not from there.
You came 2021, 2021, we started planning for the wedding.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was important for us to know the rest of the family, or the immediate,
the immediate and then the extended family. And then, I mean, this sounds like a short story. You may have some questions, but remember, we can't put everything out there.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, you can do it directly or under the comment where we deem it appropriate to put such information, or we will do that. But whatever the case is, all these stories is within a period of 7 to 8 years. Yeah, so it wasn't just like boom boom and then it happened. So a lot might have happened, and of course it did happen within that short period. Like this short story in that period. So it was worth it. I mean, and this is how far we've come.
Before we end the video, I would like to, my personal advice, what's helped us is that when you are dating someone and you want to introduce the person to the family, or someone out of the family don't understand why this, why here and there, sometimes you just have to sit them down and explain to them your reasons.
I mean, you don't have to convince anyone about what you want to do,
but let them understand why you are.
I think primarily family has to support what you are doing, right? But I was recently listening to some of these sermon and then inspirational stuff. If you come to understand this, when you get married to your partner, you are not joining your family and your partner's family together. You are starting a new family. You understand? So to those of us, you may agree, or you may have a direct explanation to yourself that maybe your mother does not have the contact of your partner's mother. Your father doesn't have contact to your partner's father. I mean, they are separate fathers. At their age, they are doing their own business or doing their own busy stuff. They don't have that time to create that new friendship. Of course, they are family. When there is a situation, they will talk about it, but that situation wouldn't come if you two are living a very good, healthy couple life, minding your own business, doing the good thing that makes you, the new family, that is you and the couple, happy. I mean, the family too will be happy, so there wouldn't be any need for those two families to come together again. You understand? So I think with that, if you are okay with it, and then the family comes to when you do the introduction, the family is okay with it, just go ahead. You don't have to please anyone. You get my point? So that is my opinion though. So I think that will take us to a topic that will say, I think does your family has to agree to your partner, before
getting married? Right? Interesting topic.
I don't think that is supposed to continue from here, so we'll continue that in another session. So until then, see you. Adios.
Bye.